Stop scrolling right now. I'm about to say something so outrageous that the UEFA lawyers are already warming up their printers. The Champions League is not real. Match day 8 of the 25-26 season was not football. It was cinema written by a deranged Netflix writer who just discovered caffeine. This wasn't a match day. This was a social experiment. This was 18 matches of pure emotional terrorism. This was the kind of night where Excel sheets died, algorithms cried, and grown men refreshed live tables like day traders in 2008. And before you say, bro, you're overreacting, no, I'm not. Because a goalkeeper scored a 98th minute header to change the entire Champions League table. If that sentence doesn't scare you, you are not alive. Welcome home. Quick disclaimer before we begin. I am not a tactical analyst, I'm not a statistician. I am just a potato operating on vibes, caffeine, and emotional instability. If you want logic, spreadsheets, or well, actually takes, this is not the video for you. If you want chaos, shouting, late goals, table swings, and me slowly losing my sanity, strap in, because matchday 8 didn't just move the table, it picked it up and shook it like a snow globe. So, before kickoff, everything looked normal, boring even. Top 8, easy. Arsenal, Bayern, Real Madrid, Liverpool, Tottenham, PSG, Newcastle, Chelsea. Nice, clean, predictable. Football fans were relaxed. Twitter was quiet. People had plans. That was their first mistake. Because at 8 p.m. the Champions League said, "Oh, you thought this was a sport?" Kickoff happens. And immediately, the table starts doing backflips. Barcelona, they dropped from 9th to 13th. Sporting, back to 15th. I haven't even finished my drink yet and the league phase is already in flames. PSG score against Newcastle and jump to 3rd. Atletico Madrid, 9th. Just like that. 10 minutes in and I'm already sweating. Live tables updating every 3 seconds like it's a stock market crash. People screaming, refresh, 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 like it's going to save them. This was football written by chaos merchants. Now we enter the phase I like to call the table gains consciousness. Manchester City rise to 6th. Sporting briefly touched 9th. Liverpool secure the spot and enter the legendary inconsequential zone. If you don't know what that is, that's when your team is so safe that your match becomes irrelevant to everyone else because, they scored 6 goals against the enemy team. Meanwhile, chaos continues. Chelsea scored a penalty versus Napoli. They jumped to 6th. Tottenham dropped to 9th. Spurs fans start praying. Real Madrid score. Mbappe does his thing, a brilliant header from a brilliant ball from Raul Asensio. And then Napoli equalise. Chelsea drop to 9th. Tottenham are back in the top 8. Spurs fans stop praying and Chelsea fans start praying. 30 seconds later, Bodo Glimt equalise versus Atletico. Atletico drop to 9th. Chelsea back into the top 8. At this point the table is changing so fast, I'm getting motion sickness. And then Benfica score. And then they score again. And they go... And then they go 25th at half time. Real Madrid fans, they're traumatized, confused. They're threatening to uninstall football. Then comes the second half. It starts and Spurs secure 4th. They enter the inconsequential zone. Barcelona equalise. They move back to 9th. 2 minutes later, they score again. They move up. Then Sporting equalise. Chelsea equalise. Everyone equalises. I don't even know what the sport is anymore. Barcelona get a penalty. They score. They're safe. Inconsequential zone. Inter score versus Dortmund. PSG gets kicked out of the top 8. Twitter explodes. Paris melts. Mbappe somewhere senses a disturbance in the force. Then Chelsea score a late winner. Chelsea to the top 8. Inter out. Real Madrid up to 8th. We have reached peak chaos, or so we thought. One match left to end. Real Madrid versus Benfica. Both teams need a goal. Real Madrid need a goal to make it back into the top 8, because they're 9th right now. And Benfica need a goal to make it, to qualify for the playoffs of the Champions League. Otherwise they would get knocked out in the league phase itself. the Benfica coach Jose Mourinho, the special one, he had outclassed Alvaro Arbeloa the entire game. It was not even a question of who is better, because the special one showed Arbeloa how it's done. He was totally outclassed the whole game, tactically and everything. Arbeloa is not a good tactician. He's just a hype man. He's just a yes man brought in by Florentino Perez. I'm pretty sure everyone with a single working brain cell knows that fact. But yeah, so for some reason though, Mourinho did not know that they needed a goal to make it into the top 24. So he brings on defenders, so that they can stay back and because they have a 3-2 lead over Madrid. Okay, so they're thinking we're safe. But then after he makes the substitutions and he brings on the defenders, literally 1 minute later, he's told that they need a goal. And he's like, oh my goodness, why couldn't you have told me this before, you dimwits? So then the inevitable happens. They get a free kick. I think it's roughly 30 yards out. 30, 35, 35, between 30 and 40 yards out. Okay, so it's literally the last kick of the game. I'm not even lying. Benfica get a free kick. Jose Mourinho signals to the goalkeeper to go up. But right before that, let me tell you what else happened. Real Madrid had gotten 2 red cards. One for Raul Asensio, he made a cynical challenge and he got a second yellow. And Rodrigo got a second yellow for arguing because they disallowed one of Mbappe's goals. Yeah, Mbappe actually did score, but the referee disallowed it because it was in the rule book. He took the goalkeeper. He let go of the ball with his hands and he was gonna hit it or something, and Mbappe hit it in between the motion, and that's not allowed anymore in the rule books. So Rodrigo was arguing with the ref, so he got a second yellow and he got sent off as well. So you have to keep in mind, this is a 10-man Real Madrid. Sorry, no, 9-man Real Madrid. Oh, I'm stupid. This is a 9-man Real Madrid. They've got 2 red cards. And Jose Mourinho signals his goalkeeper to go forward for the free kick. The last attack of the game. Literally the last kick of the game. No cap. It's the 98th minute. Imagine this. You're in the Benfica Stadium. I forgot its name. But imagine this. You're in the Benfica Stadium. I'm pretty sure you've never scored a goal before for Benfica. You're amongst the players. You're restless. You're like, we need a goal. Come on, lads. Come on. We need a goal. Let's go, lads. Because keepers are usually leadership figures in a football team. So like, come on, let's go. But who would have thought? The ball is whipped into the crowd, and the keeper, he leaps up. He heads the ball, and the ball rolls into the net. Benfica 4, Real Madrid 2. Absolute fucking cinema. Last kick of the game, Benfica make it into the top 24. Just barely inching ahead of... I'm sorry. They just barely inched in front of Marseille. Marseille. They just barely inched in front of Marseille. It was incredible. By 1 goal difference. Truben, the man who had gloves on, the man who's not supposed to be there. The cross comes in, header, goal. He scores, the table explodes, Benfica qualify. Real Madrid was already top of out of the top 8. But man, I just sat there in silence. I was staring at my screen like I just witnessed a glitch in the Matrix. This was not football. This was a scripted plot twist. PSG and Newcastle draw. Both miss out on top 8. Atletico Madrid out. Atlanta out of the top 8. Real Madrid playoffs. Benfica heroes. Chelsea, they were saved by a last minute goal. And suddenly Everything we thought we knew was wrong. All predictions dead. All spreadsheets useless. All logic thrown into the ocean. And this is why we love football. Not because of tactics, not because of statistics, but because a goalkeeper can ruin your entire season with his forehead. Because tables lie, because probabilities are fake, because the Champions League doesn't care about your feelings. Matchday 8 was proof that football is not a sport. It's performance art. It's cinema. And this is how the new format ends for the second year. And the knockout stage is going to be illegal. So yeah, that was matchday 8, the craziest Champions League night ever. If you predicted this, you're lying. If you understood this, you're lying. If you enjoyed this, welcome to the asylum. And subscribe if you want more chaos. Like if you want to refresh the table 200 times. And comment to football emotionally destroyed this night. Potato Army, potato out.